everybody, and welcome back to Typical City. One stays and one goes. The future of Kyle Walker and Joao Cancelo are seemingly being decided in the very, very near future, which is good news regardless of whether they go or whether they stay. You want the decision to be made and sorted before the real meat of the Premier League season gets underway. I know we're one game in, but you need to get these players either patting down and onto a new contract and deciding their future being at Manchester City, or alternatively, get them out of the club. Get that player out of the club, because Joao Cancelo is the player we're going to start with. Let's start with Cancelo, a player that's a very good player. We saw what he's capable of, obviously, during his 2-3 seasons at City. On the pitch, we've seen quality things from Cancelo, even in pre-season, playing against Bayern Munich, namely. That performance was top tier, really good performances in pre-season. But it's not just about what he can do. We know what he can do, but it's the byproduct of Cancelo is the baggage that's coming with him, the attitude problems, the alleged and reported throwing of a ball at Pep Guardiola. And this baggage now is seemingly being aired. His dirty laundry is being aired on Instagram and coming out with ridiculous quotes on Instagram saying, believe in yourself, forget the rest. Like some crazy philosopher like that sitting on there with his skull and a pipe, just thinking about future and just coming out with utter nonsense like you actually mean something. Get over yourself, Cancelo. It is absolute nonsense. Nobody can hold back a winner. This sort of bollocks, like he's coming out with some of the most ridiculous things and then posting it about scoring a goal in training. Like, come on, mate. It's clear he's having a dig at City. Forget the rest, as in forget City. Nobody can hold back a winner like Cancelo. Like, we're holding him back. We're not holding you back, mate. Be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing and you'll get there. This is the sort of bollocks that he's coming out with. Always give yourself 100%. Always 100%. Well, not if you're giving blood. Don't give 100% of your blood, because you will die. You will die, Cancelo. So these statements are just pissing me off now. The guy's clearly angling for a move. The question is it a loan move or is it a permanent move? Personally, I want it to be permanent. But this is the issue. We're dealing with Barcelona, which is one factor in the negotiation. And the other factor is nobody else wants him. You know, he's a problem child. You know, he's a problem. You're buying a problem when you buy Cancelo, and that's why they're not buying him. Now, Barcelona are not buying him because they don't have the money. They owe us money for Ferran Torres. I can't get over it. I can't get over how much money they owe us. I don't understand why so little is being made of how much money Barcelona owe us. I've never known anything like it in football, for a club to just outright owe. Two clubs of the sizes of Barcelona and Manchester City, one owes the other 40 plus million. Why are we not taking them to court? Why are we not dealing with this in legal terms now? If they owe that amount of money, yet we're still dealing with them. I'm a bit confused about that. I'm not going to pretend I'm a financial expert or some kind of lawyer in these situations, but I do have an understanding to a certain degree that City have been dragged through the mud. Imagine if City owed a club money. Imagine the dirt that would be spread throughout all the publications. So that's something that bothers me. It's a separate note on this situation, and probably why Barcelona are only interested in a loan move. If it's a loan, okay, just get rid. I don't really want to talk too badly about Cancelo, but he keeps making the situation worse by taking to Instagram and stating these ridiculous attempts at being some kind of philosopher, some really beautiful mind, a wordsmith, a linguistic man who's just like, shut up, mate. You're a footballer. They should have these Instagram accounts taken off them, some of them. You're going to get me on one now. I'm going to get on one and talk about social media, football players and their fucking apologies on Instagram. Like, sorry I missed an open goal today, guys. I've let the team down. Sorry I'm paid like £250,000 a week and you spent £80 million on me and I ballooned my shot into row Z. I'm very, very sorry about that. Really sorry. Everyone on Instagram feels sorry for me. Oh, look at him. He's gone to Instagram and he's written a 600 essay apology. Oh, what a nice young man. It's bollocks. You don't apologise. You apologise by taking to the football pitch next week and scoring. That's how you apologised. Do I sound like a boomer of some kind? An old man who's like, am I missing something here? Because I don't care if it's society's moving forward and I'm being antiquated in saying these things, but it's ridiculous how much power these social media accounts, they're not even ran by the players themselves. which is the whole point. If you're meant to have connections with personalities, it gets you closer to the players. No, it doesn't. It gets you closer to the media, the hired employee who's working for Cancelo or whoever it is that's running that particular account. It's utter nonsense is what it is. And Cancelo's one of them. I love what Pep does in terms of hiring or employing these players and signing these players. We don't have baggage players anymore. We sign good lads, mentally stable men who are just focused on the football. There's no drama with Bernardo Silva. There's no drama with Rodri and Haaland and stuff. And even Haaland, he's entertaining in social media, but he just gets on with it. There's no shitty little innuendos and secret cryptic messages like, being snide in Instagram. Like, piss off. Get out of the club. It's boring. It's boring. It really is. Anyway, I'm done with Cancelo. He can do one for as far as I'm concerned now. This is the final straw. It was the final straw quite some time ago, to be honest. But let's move on to some positive news. Kyle Walker, the captain, the future captain. He was given the captain's armband throughout Bayern Munich against Atletico Madrid and against Yokohama. So the 3 pre-season games, he was given the captain's armband and started all 3. And that followed on from Florian Plettenberg of Sky Germany stating that Kyle Walker's adamantly leaving and he's on his way to Bayern Munich. And now Bayern Munich are apparently having a hissy fit about this and saying Kyle Walker's been unprofessional in the way he's dealt with it, and they're just generally upset with the man. But I think he just put the squeeze on City, and I understand why he's done that. He's not done it in the public, first of all. He's done it through his agent and done it and kept it in-house between the 2 clubs, which is how professional matters like this should be handled. Not snide comments in the media or on social media in places like that. Doing it professionally with the intent to stay at the club. He saw his arse last season when he didn't get into the Champions League final team. The starting 11, he didn't play. Yet he's there in the changing rooms, giving a speech, preparing the team and incentivising the team and inspiring the team to go out and win a Champions League medal, knowing full well that inside he's hurting because he's not on the pitch himself, yet he's still there motivating the players for the good of the team. And that's the mental attitude we need, not this throwing a ball at Pep Guardiola, right, I'm off, I'm leaving, I'm going on loan to Bayern Munich because you're not playing me for enough. Like, none of that shit, just gets on with it and cracks on. Fair enough, he needed to sit down with Pep Guardiola and probably have his future laid out in front of him and have explanations as to where his future actually lies within Manchester City. That's fine, I understand that. And he sat in a bar telling stories to each other and talking about the future of Kyle Walker and Manchester City. And is there a relationship there? Turns out there is, because he's going to sign a new contract. And this is incredible news. Now, the captain's armband is something that, again, I'm not a fan of captain's armbands. I think in England we overhype the importance of the captain. I really don't think they're that important, especially at our level. In the football, it's not like cricket, for example, where the captain actually gets to decide the team in cricket. In football, most captains at football clubs, your responsibility is to go to the middle, hand over your little emblem for the club and things like that, swap whatever memorabilia between the 2 teams, flip a coin, and then point and gesture on the pitch a little bit. It's not really much needed from a captain beyond that. In City's case, there's more importance because we want to know who's going to be lifting our trophies at the end of the season. So from a City point of view, knowing that the likelihood of lifting silverware is very high, yeah, I understand that. But other than that, it's not like cricket. It's not that important. I would rather have 6 of them. 6 leaders. 6 or 7, 8, 9, all of them. All of them should be leaders. They all should have that capacity to lead one another. And I like the idea of them all speaking up in the dressing room. I don't like the idea of a player giving one player such power being the understudy to the manager. It doesn't work like that. The game doesn't work like that anymore. I do think the captain's armband is more of a gesture, more of a symbol than actually meaning anything. No roles are being given to captains nowadays, genuine roles that, like, I think they can speak to the referee, things like that. There are small little details like that. I don't think the importance is as high as people make it out to be anymore in football, because they all should be captains. They all should be leading by example. And if there's a few that isn't, fine. But City have a ton of them. We have a ton of them. Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Kyle Walker. I think Edison could probably lead from the back. We've got numerous players that could all do that job, and I don't like the idea that it's super, super important. At the end of the day, I don't think it's important. I think it's a bit of a gesture. It bothers me very, very little. Going, well, who's going to be our captain? Oh, who's it going to be? And I think Pep probably agrees, because he let the players decide for themselves. which is an indication of how important it actually is. Because if it was something important, Pep would decide, wouldn't he? He wouldn't hand it to the players and let them decide, you know, because I don't think it's that important. But the good news about all this is Kyle Walker stays. And if I had to pick a captain, he's certainly on that list. I'd probably have gone for Ruben Diaz personally, myself, in terms of leader. Off the field, I'm thinking, if you know what I mean, he doesn't get his knob out in bars and things like that. So that's captain material to me, someone who doesn't get their penis out in public. I love Kyle Walker, don't get me wrong, and I think that scenario is water under the bridge now. Let's forget it. A little lapse in concentration in how to behave in public. A little boo-boo from Kyle Walker there. So, yeah, let's move on. I also think the girl had more involvement than people made out, than the cameras made out. But let's move on from that. I do think it's great news. And the fact that Bayern Munich are pissed off, they're even more pissed off with the fact that Harry Kane has joined. And even he, with a trophy handed to them on a silver platter, and they still can't win a trophy, Harry Kane. You got to feel sorry for him joining Bayern Munich. They must be livid, Bayern Munich. Absolutely livid. After that, and they've not even got Kyle Walker, and they've brought Harry Kane in. Super Cup against RB Leipzig, and they lose 3-0. No trophy for Harry Kane. Surely Harry Kane's going to go and get himself a trophy. But sticking with Kyle Walker, we saw what he's capable of against Burnley. We've seen what he's capable of against Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. But I was saying it in the watch-along for Burnley that his qualities can be showcased, not just against Mbappe or Vinicius Jr. It doesn't have to just be against those players, because Lyle Foster up front for Burnley was lightning quick, frightening speed, and Kyle Walker dealt with him every time. There was a couple of counter-attacks in the second half that came down his side of the pitch, and he just nullified it straight away, just mopped it up, won the ball back, and City are back in possession. And we've seen it time and time again from Kyle Walker. Always his attacking side of the game is an issue, and which is why I think he could play as a centre-back, being the speed that he's got, and use that speed even as part of a three. If we went three at the back with, let's say, Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, Kyle Walker, or you play four at the back, Kyle Walker being at right back, I still think there's space for him in both systems, because we've seen him play centre-back for England, and we've seen glimpses of him playing centre-back for City as well. So I think this is the great news, that he's signing a new contract. How long that contract's going to be for, I'd imagine no more than 2 years, considering his age. The fact that Joao Cancelo is now on his way out. Two more bits of information rounding off this transfer window. I'm going to get onto Paqueta and Doku tomorrow, talk about that if there's any. There's been no development since yesterday, so we'll have to wait and see it on that one. But this transfer window now is starting to take shape very nicely for City and City fans, for something to get really, really happy about. So good times, really good times to be a Blue. New season, here we go. Let's move forward. New players in, new players out. It's going to be a good transfer window. I'm feeling more and more confident as the days go by. But Blues, get in your comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.